So good afternoon. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. And thank you to Abu Dhabi Art to host the series of conferences organized by Comité Colbert in the framework of the Flânerie Colbert Abu Dhabi on French luxury in the 21st century. A few words about Comité Colbert first. It is a French institution grouping 84 French luxury houses with 16 cultural institutions. And all together, they share values. First, the importance of the intangible heritage of know-how, of craftsmanship. That is the first one. The second one is the importance of creativity and of experience. And they also, all together, share the conviction that they embody French culture, what we call French art de vivre. They all obviously also share those values with Abu Dhabi, and that's the reason why the Flânerie Colbert Abu Dhabi proposes to the public events in 3 different locations. The first venue is Qasr Al Hosn House of Artisans, because we really very strongly share those values around the this intangible heritage of know-how, the craftsmanship. And so together with the House of Artisans, we have organized a series of demonstrations, craftsmanship demonstrations, that we have called Savoir-faire conversations in French. And it was a conversation between French and Emirati artisans. So you could, at this time exactly, you have artisans from Le Sage, embroiderers, working with Al Sadou women from the House of Artisans. We also had Dior and Al Gargor, for example, or we had an Hermes saddle maker who worked with a camel saddle maker with Al Sadou here. So it's really a very important thing that we share, Comité Colbert, our houses, with Abu Dhabi. The second venue is the Galleria on Al Maria Island, where you can, it offers to the public the opportunity to walk along the Galleria, of flâner. There is no equivalent into English, so it's really flâner. It's a very Parisian way of going along the path. And so we have brought a little bit of Paris at the Galleria with 26 houses working together and merging their creativity to propose very incredible surprise. So I invite you to go and visit there. And the third venue is here at Abu Dhabi Art, where we wish to explore the very strong ties between French luxury and contemporary art scene. So why is Comité Colbert proposing this series of talks here at Abu Dhabi Art? Well, because really creativity is at the heart of French luxury. It is really about craftsmanship and always renewal through creativity. So it is, they speak French luxury and contemporary art, speak just the same language. Although sometimes houses can exist for more than a century, they need always to be at the avant-garde and to be involved in creativity. And so that's the reason why we, because we share those values, and because also we see luxury pieces, and I think the exhibition at the Louvre Abu Dhabi on 10,000 years of luxury shows you how luxury and art, contemporary art of the 16th century and contemporary art of the 21st century, share many things. So today we will, I'm sure, convince you by first looking at institutions, at the way, at how French luxury is playing an important role through institutions. And we will do this through looking at the Fondation Cartier, the first of its kind, which was created in 1984, and which is occupying a very singular position in the contemporary art scene. And we have invited the Louvre Abu Dhabi, so Grazia Quaroni from the Fondation Cartier and Juliette Singer from Louvre Abu Dhabi, to also tell us how contemporary art is part of the Louvre Abu Dhabi. In a second session today, we will dive really into the brands and see how artists in the luxury houses are really playing as insiders. And we will look at that through two examples, the one of Dior and the work of Bernardo, the collaboration with artists at Bernardo, the famous China company. The third session of this series of talks will take place on Saturday, the 23rd, here, same place, so we wait for you. And it will look at how, in France, we really see contemporary art as being a continuity with history. And I think, again, the exhibition 10,000 Years of Luxury is showing in many ways that continuity. But it is something very important for us because we see contemporary art as heritage in the future also. So there is a continuity, and this, we will look at it through a presentation by the president of the Château de Versailles, the director of the Fondation Hermès, and the chief curator of the Mobilier National, which is an institution with, I think, no equivalent anywhere in the world. But let's come back to today. I have the pleasure of introducing two prominent speakers, Grazia Quaroni from the Fondation Cartier and Juliette Singer from the Louvre Abu Dhabi. Grazia first will speak, and I thank you very much for being with us. You are the director of the collections at the Fondation Cartier pour l'Art Contemporain, and you work for the foundation since 1991, so you participated in an amazing number of exhibitions, so I think we will learn a lot. And I must add that students here at the Sorbonne Abu Dhabi are lucky enough to be able to follow your courses on curatorial studies. Grazia, the current exhibition at the Fondation Cartier is entitled Trees. 2 years ago, you had the Great Animal Orchestra. I also remember that you had an exhibition almost 10 years ago about mathematics. So they merge scientific research, artistic work, philosophy. Could you tell us more about and why this positioning at the intersection of disciplines? Grazia, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you to Valerie Sandoz for this extremely detailed presentation. Thank you to the Comité Colbert, and thank you to Abu Dhabi Art to give me this opportunity to share with you the current projects of the Fondation Cartier and a little bit of its history. Where is it? What it is? It is an art center. It is located in Paris, in Montparnasse area. in a building designed by French architect Jean Nouvel in 1994. It is an art space which makes contemporary art exhibitions. It is open since 1984, open to a wide public, welcoming a lot of visitors, not only from the small art world, but really open to any kind of public. And the conceptor and the general director of Fondation Cartier is Mr. Hervé Chandès. So there is a program of art exhibitions, performing arts, talks. We are book publishers. And from classic painting and sculpture, you can find also, we enlarge the fields of our interest on music, design, architecture, cinema, fashion design. And I think that one of the the key point of the identity of the Fondation Cartier is to be in total intellectual independence from the Maison Cartier. You only will find contemporary art and contemporary creativity in our spaces, and nothing concerning the activities or the products of Cartier. This is a strategy that has been always at the core at Fondation Cartier. The goal is supporting any kind of art, any kind of contemporary art. The entire name of the foundation is Fondation Cartier pour l'art contemporain. And when we say for contemporary art, it's including any artist, any part of the world, very well known, young emerging talents, or coming from geographies and from parts of the world that have no access to Parisian scenes or European scene. The exploration of new territories for art is very, very important, and we really tend to enlarge this definition of contemporary art to the entire world. We showed artists who are rarely shown, people apparently outside the art world, and of course we include in that any kind of creativity, so researchers, philosophers, scientists, they are part of the program. Now, to show you a little bit more about, in a lively way, what you can find at the Fondation Cartier, I have a small video to explain what does it mean to welcome all these artists and all these talents.
Wonder about it.
这是一个年轻的艺术家，在这种艺术工作室的时候，他都在想什么，他都是做什么。
あんまり難しく考えずに子供のように。
It's just a beginning that I'm telling how this universe is important to me.
I was reborn, you see, because I thought, oh, I can be different. You see, this is the freedom to think.
La Fondation Cartier, une visible, parce que cette approche englobante, universelle.
Artists, I feel very, very proud of it. It started with a philosopher and ended with architects and artists and statisticians and geographers. I mean, you know, that's the way that the world needs to think, across disciplines, across borders.
conversation qu'on fait.
Despite of what Jean-Michel Alberola says, that's not all. We have more. So some examples, from classic contemporary sculpture with Ron Mueck, who came for several exhibitions at the Fondation Cartier, to discovering talents to very well-known people, because David Lynch is very famous as a filmmaker, but not very many people knew that he is able also to make paintings, photography, and any kind of installation. The big names of contemporary art, the historical ones like Bruce Nauman, can also be part of the program. And when we go to group shows, often we go into new geographies, like it was the case with Beauty Congo or Southern Geometries on all countries in South America. All this program is making a collection. The Fondation Cartier has a collection of about 1,600 works that are coming from commissions and from the works that we exhibit. So it means that the works stay with us, and also the artists stay with us. And the collection is not shown in our spaces in Paris because they're dedicated to the program, but more, it is more part of, a very important part of the international program of the Fondation Cartier. And as you can see, large-scale exhibitions in Seoul, in Shanghai, and Buenos Aires in the last 2 years made over 600,000 visitors. The collection, we like to consider that as a living organism, because the active participation of the artist is always essential, and nothing can be achieved without them. So each time a work is exhibited, the artist travels with us, and it is the opportunity to make new meetings, new context, reimagining, adjusting, and updating all the works. So it's not only a matter of conservation, but it's also a matter of making the work alive and adding meaning to the meaning in each different installation. And that's how we create the long-term relationship with the artist, and that's how we can really talk about a community of artists which is around the Fondation Cartier. This is for the main activities. So an exhibition program, nomadic nights, performing arts, and the constitution of a collection. But let's say that through the current show, Trees, which is going to be on show until January 5th, the Fondation Cartier opens its door to subjects that are very solid in its history and in its program, to subjects that are not exactly museum subjects. Fondation Cartier sees its role as a hub for the contemporary, and its first responsibility is to open up not only to art, but also to the present world, and to fit in its own time, its social context, and being always on top of the current art and society debate. And thanks to the extensive network we created in the years, not only of visual artists, but also thought leaders, philosophers, scientists, anthropologists, or sociologists, it can really launch the debate and facilitate meetings and the growing of ideas. Whenever the works are exhibited, the artists are with us, no matter where they come from. The current exhibition, Trees, offers a wide range of artists from, for example, the Grand Chaco in the forest in Paraguay. And of course, the artists come with us, come to Paris and show their word, their vision, and there is a real tribune for them to have the right to speak. And as part of its ongoing exploration of the state of today's world, the Fondation Cartier is really one of the first institutions to engage the museum on the most urgent and contemporary subjects. And since the 90s, actually, significant issues related to nature and environment, climate change and its impact on migrations, humans' relationship to the animal and the vegetal world, deforestation, and the disappearance of indigenous language and culture, as well as the creative and scientific impact on contemporary mathematics, have been developed through collaborations between artists and scientists, forming a solid community. And these are the real main concerns of the Fondation Cartier today. So trees, it's really in the continuity of a long-term engagement of the Fondation Cartier on environment, climate change, and exploration of faraway culture. When we exhibit such a range of different artists with botanists, we work also with philosophers like Emanuele Coccia here in dialogue with Anne-Soure Schaubrist, the mathematician Cédric Villani, French mathematician, winner of the Field Medal, very, very young. He is now here leading the Night of Uncertainty on the subject of trees. And here he is in full conversation with Francis Allais, a botanist and an artist. Let's say that a couple of years before, we have made, I think, the exhibition, which is the real correspondent of trees in the animal world, with the Great Animal Orchestra that put together the same ideas of urgency about what's going on today into nature. And at this occasion, it was very, very important for us to bring together not only specialists, but also with this installation, but also to bring the attention on the fact that an artist can be also a scientist and can be evolving its own career. The Great Animal Orchestra is an immersive installation made born in the collaboration of a bioacoustician, American, Bernie Krause, an ex-musician who stopped the music, listening to the music and wanting to inquire about the origins of music. And of course, the origins of music cannot be found anywhere else than in nature. And with the collaboration of United Visual Artists, a collective of artists in London, they put together this immersive installation presenting 7 soundscapes from different forests in the world. Bernie Krause collected these sounds for about 50 years. And the most impressive thing is that, so these are soundscapes of ecosystems. A forest is an ecosystem, and according to his theory, according to Krauss' theory, the sounds of the forest, they are organized as much as an orchestra is. But today, after a few years, almost 50% that all he has recorded in his life just disappear and will not get back. So this is very, very important to understand. I have another little video to show you to bring together all this information about the engagement the Fondation Cartier has in this subject.
C'est un peu comme si le ciel et ses nuages et sa pollution
tout à y faire. L'appauvrissement de la biodiversité est une catastrophe humaine.
So as I said, the Fondation Cartier is based in Paris, but it has an international activity that take different shapes. So the Great Animal Orchestra, for example, has been commissioned in Paris, exhibited in Paris first, but traveled then to Seoul, to Shanghai, to Milan, to London. So it is a real engagement also to not to stay in the Boulevard Raspail, but to explore the world and to share the project we initiate. There are other exhibitions that are, for example, this is the next one. It's going to be an exhibition of Brazilian photographer Claudia Andujar, who has been spending her life to stand up for the cause and the protection of the Yanomami people in the north of Brazil. It's going to be in the next exhibition. It's going to travel. So the format of traveling exhibition is very important, but also the long-term relationship we can make with certain institutions like Power Station of Art in Shanghai that host our collection. Then the exhibition of Junya Ishigami, the first exhibition the Fondation Cartier conceived about architecture. And now the Power Station of Art shows an exhibition by Jean Nouvel in collaboration with the Fondation Cartier. So these are long-term relationships with public institutions. But now we have another partnership to announce. The Fondation Cartier and Triennale Milano will present a program of exhibitions and live performances in the spaces of the Triennale, so in Milano, Italy. And it is within the same spirit of discovery that the Fondation Cartier and Triennale Milano have come together in a collaboration that has not real precedent between European public and private institutions to propose a shared program, as well as to establish new international cultural networks. So for the next 8 years, in a 1,300 square meter exhibition space at Triennale in Milano, the program of the Fondation Cartier will be shared. So it's a new kind of collaboration. We're going to start with an exhibition of the collection, which is curated by Argentinian artist Guillermo Cuitca. And then, to give you an example, Claudia Andujar, the Yanomami struggle, will travel to Milano. Many thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Grazia. We will have a Q&A session at the end of the talk. So keep your questions. I'm sure you have many in mind. And we will give you time to ask questions to Grazia. Now I turn to Juliette. Juliette Singer, you are the chief curator on modern art and contemporary art at Louvre Abu Dhabi. You have been involved in the creation of the museum, even because your previous position was at Agence France Museum. Juliette, contemporary arts are very important at Louvre Abu Dhabi, and you can see when I visited the first time, there is a kind of statement in the first room. You see that incredible face-to-face between Chi Twombly and the rock art from Alain. So it's very It's Alula, or it's
from Riyadh.
from Riyadh. Okay.
Yes, it's a rocket from Riyadh National Museum.
Okay. I was not sure, so it's good. That's why I'm happy that you correct me. But anyway, this face-to-face is very, gives already from the very beginning of the visit of the museum this idea that the visit will really, with this universal vision of the Louvre Abu Dhabi, will not be only geographical, but also through time, and will make link between times. So could you tell us more about the policy of Louvre Abu Dhabi for contemporary arts? Thank you.
Let's go. Thank you. So, first, of course, I want to thank you, Valérie, for the invitation, and of course, all the Comité Colbert. It's a very pleasure to be here. Also, thank you to Abu Dhabi Art. That is fantastic that you're again. So, the introduction first, it will be to speak about the contemporary art in Louvre Abu Dhabi. So, the Louvre Abu Dhabi was born from an intergovernmental project between the United Arab Emirates and France. So the project involves the use of the name Louvre for 30 years, the organization of exhibition by partner museum for 15 years, and the loan of works in decreasing numbers for 10 years, while Louvre Abu Dhabi builds up its own collection. So as early as its creation, the museum was designed to be universal. And in the intergovernmental agreement, it's written exhibiting items of major importance in the domains of archaeology, the fine arts, and the decorative arts, open to all historical periods, but to be dominantly classical through where appropriate, including contemporary art, geographical regions, and to all domains of history and art. Thus, contemporary art is fully relevant there in Louvre Abu Dhabi, also not predominantly, but it plays an essential role, which I will endeavor now to present to you today. So here you have a view, of course, of the museum, intergovernmental agreement. So contemporary art is part of the universal narrative of Louvre Abu Dhabi. Louvre Abu Dhabi unfolds around 12 galleries ranging from antiquity to the present day. It begins with the grand vestibule, a room that displays artifacts coming from the whole world and arranged around similar theme: golden mortuary mask, maternities, and so on. The showcase of this room, designed by Jean Nouvel, like the entire museum, conjured up icebergs. On the floor, the map of the coast of Abu Dhabi shows the name of all the places of the world where the works and artifacts shown in the itinerary come from. In the center of the room, in the center of the room, a Portolan chart shows that the itinerary across the museum is like a journey through time and space. The gallery that is dedicated to contemporary art is located opposite this great vestibule at the end of the journey. It is thus consistent with the overall rationale for the permanent galleries, which, in keeping with the intergovernmental agreement, are destined to foster dialogue between East and West, which each party respecting the cultural value of the other party. The rationale is also expressed in the scientific and cultural project pursued by the scientific team of the museum under the leadership of Soraya Noujaim. The contemporary art gallery thus finds its place within the larger narrative history of art and humanity. So here you have some view from the museum. So that part, it both concludes and opens it at the same time. For the visitor, is supposed to be able to go back in time, following the itinerary in reverse order from the present time to the antiquity. So the issue of contemporary art in Louvre Abu Dhabi is plural. It is about finding answer to the following question of determining which works can echo Ramses or the Lion of Marisha, for example, old masterpieces from every epoch. While the works of the past have stood the test of time, the specialists of contemporary art are not unanimous, so that curatorial choices are necessarily biased. The building up of the collection with modern and contemporary art masterpieces should consider duration and speak to future generations. Secondly, as you follow the itinerary, time accelerates. The ancient works that reach us aimed for eternity. They encompass a long term. Conversely, the more recent gallery I am in charge of only covers the 19th, 20th, and 21st century, with an acceleration due to new materials, new industries, and new lifestyles. Thus, the change in display in those galleries are more frequent than in the previous gallery in order to go along with the acceleration. In the choice of semi-permanent installation for the last room, like for Susanna Fritzsche. These larger issues exposed by Louvre Abu Dhabi require that universal concern should be reflected and that the works should be sufficiently generic to embody this absoluteness. The installation by Susanna Fritzsche, Für die Luft, made of air and light, meet those requirements. The protocol was acquired by Centre Pompidou. It infers that the work should then be adapted for each place where it is exhibited. This work also demonstrates that contemporary art interrogates the very operation of the museum, which must adapt to this type of concept. A team of 6 people stayed with the artist for a month last summer in order to install the 100 kilometers of silicone trees and with 16,000 notes. Eventually, the version of Für die Luft, presented in Louvre Abu Dhabi, adapted to the architecture of Jean Nouvel, takes up the interlacing of the dome, themselves inspired from the Islamic motif that can also be seen, for example, on the fontaine of Ottoman pavement. The universal dimension of this work is also embodied in the visitors. Coming from all the worlds, they become actors in these immersive worlds, in which they share an experience that is both unique and collective.
Is an immersive installation was specially conceived for a place. The artwork is composed by 2 structures, and these structures are designed in relationship to the dome from Jean Nouvel. Of course, the work is in relation to the architecture and one another in the dialogue, but there is another dialogue inside this installation with a dialogue between the people who don't know.
I have the pleasure to say that Susanna is here with us today, so at the end, if you have some questions, she will be happy to answer you, and you can also visit the artwork now in the Louvre Abu Dhabi. So my second point, it's about contemporary art beyond the boundaries of the permanent itinerary with the commissions. So you have artwork of contemporary art not only in the permanent galleries, but also under the dome, which allow the monumental scale. So contemporary art also spreads through the museum with a number of works that were commissioned from contemporary artists even before the museum opened. Thus, Germination by Giuseppe Pennone with the over 8 meter high tree of life that you can see here. Engage in dialogue with Jean Nouvel's dome. It embodies a relationship between man and nature and the mystery of the creation. For Louvre Abu Dhabi by Jenny Holzer is composed of 3 monumental stone walls inspired from text written in different alphabets at different times and by different authors. One is in cuneiform writing, a text in Arabic by Ibn Khaldun, and why the one you can see by Montaigne. Those contemporary installations we are bound to develop establish a dialogue between historical periods. They give a temporal depth to the oldest works on display in the museum. A few isolated juxtapositions just enable the past and the present to converse, just like Ai Weiwei's Fountain of Light interrogated the figure of Babel, which is also present in the 16th century in the itinerary with the Babel of Tower from Grimmer. Or like the large piece by Saitambli you were speaking about, Valérie, an American artist established in Italy who found inspiration in the rupestry and paintings and graffiti he had uncovered in Europe on the rock art on loan from Riyadh National Museum. It reminds us that the artists of all the times were contemporary. One of the characters from the film Children of Paradise by Marcel Carné explains that modernity is as old as the hills. We could equally say that the contemporary art, too, is as old as the hill. My last point will be that contemporary art make a link between the museum and its time. It anchors the museum really in our time of today. Indeed, the contemporary art enables to anchor the museum fully in our time. By prospection work allows Louvre Abu Dhabi to be part of the contemporary networks. Abu Dhabi Fair, Sharjah, or for instance today to be in that talk with Comité Colbert. The encounter with the artist is also very decisive. For a contemporary artist, being included in the collection of Louvre Abu Dhabi is a way to enter into a form of eternity, or at least it takes on a specific significance, particularly in this part of the world where Louvre Abu Dhabi is the first universal museum. I met Saudi artist Mahram Alou, you can see her on the left, and she was telling me how much of a fantastic shock the creation of this museum was for the whole region. She's from Saudi Arabia, and how proud she was of being in it. Contemporary art is also the link that enables to anchor the Emirati artistic world to the larger history, thanks to the presence of the works of artists such as Hassan Sharif, Abdullah Al-Saadi, or Mohammed Ahmed Ibrahim since the opening of the museum. In the middle, yes, you can see Mohammed Ahmed Ibrahim and Abdullah Al-Saadi. They are both Emirati artists and living in Korfakan. At last, for Susanna Fritcher, who came to install her work for a month last summer, it was a unique experience of discovering teams from the whole world, particularly the guards, with whom she exchanged on a daily basis with a mutual benefit derived from those exchanges. Thus, contemporary art makes the museum a little bit more spirited and more human. Ultimately, contemporary art interrogates the future and new technology. The museum is committed to question what could not have existed until now, and what art can give access to from now on. The OSNI of Mathilde Villeneuve-Cartier's Nose and Transsolar, of which I am the curator for Louvre Abu Dhabi, is an incredible object. It is a reconstitution of a cloud in a glass cube created between 2 layers of air with a difference in temperature between the 2 layers. Some music provides an introduction for the experience in the access corridor. When the visitor enters, he will climb stairs across the cloud, smell a fragrance called l'envol, the flight, which will really give him the impression of being in the clouds. This installation will be open to the public from November 23rd, and I hope visitors will come in numbers to see it, together with the installation by Susanna Fritcher that will be all the year until October. Osni, it's only until February, and Susanna, it's until October next year. So to conclude, I would say that the challenge of contemporary art at Louvre Abu Dhabi is altogether the challenge of art. To conjure up memory, open up to the future, transform the outlook on the world, bring people together, open up on the horizon, and offer a flight towards the future, new technologies on the imaginary. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Juliette. I'm sure you have questions for both Juliette or Grazia, so please, yes?
I have the privilege to be in many of the exhibitions of Fondation Cartier, for which I have all my respect. I know that you are doing an extraordinary job integrating all the wise lines of the wise and the arts and the science, so I don't have nothing to ask you. Everything is in your work. I have a couple of questions for Juliette Sanger. Since you mentioned the word acceleration, and we know who always have the privilege to be in the inauguration of the Louvre in Abu Dhabi, that the names Giuseppe Pennoni, Jenny Holzer, Ai Weiwei, Cy Twombly have been since the beginning, already 2 years. But when we saw the first contemporary room in the Louvre, it was a diversity of artworks, respectable artworks, and in the middle, as we know, an Ai Weiwei sculpture. And all of us, we would comment in a free way that there was not enough oxygenation, and we were very curious about the curatorial statement of the contemporary area in the Louvre Abu Dhabi. So I had as well the privilege to be in Susanna Fritcher installation, which is so beautiful. Not yet to USO, but if that will be until October next year, in what, how is your acceleration process to make the contemporary area of the Louvre more diverse, more interactive? What is your curatorial statement and what are the bases of it? Are you interested as well in bringing some other disciplines, no matter what are the original statements of Louvre? Where are you for the next future? And not talking about installation to installation, but as contemporary area from Louvre Abu Dhabi.
The acceleration is to understood in the link of all the narrative. As you have seen in the first room, it's very old, big stones, like Ramses, it's a lot of stones, so it doesn't move that easy. So the acceleration is also to change, for example, the very last room every year or every 2 years. So acceleration, it means that in that very museum, we are not like in Fondation Cartier or in Centre Pompidou with every 2 months we change everything. It's just in that very museum that goes through times, the rhythm of rotation of new hanging, it's not the same at the end than at the start. That is why there is an acceleration. To answer your question, we are a very young institution, only 2 years opened, so it's not the same case as in Fondation Cartier. So until now, we succeed very well to present all kind of works. We have movie, we have photograph, we have sculpture, installation, we have all continent present since the opening. So we are still going through that exploration of new media, new horizons. So I can not tell you more because it's not yet to be communicate, but we will still open the last room to new experiences. All the most, of course, as you know, in the region. Next year there will be Dubai 2020, so we'll be always still linked with new technology, with a new approach, and always questioning, and that is maybe the more important answer to your question. We still are keeping what is universal as a question of art that make a link with all the museum. And for us, it's about the time, the space, and the humanity. So the three questions will be here, and it will be the foundation of the new installation for the future in the contemporary in Louvre Abu Dhabi.
Other questions? Other questions in the room? Then I have a question to you, Juliette, because Grazia explained how he's done the collection at the Fondation Cartier through the exhibition, link with artists through time. So Louvre Abu Dhabi is also acquiring and constituting a collection. So what is how do you constitute your collection for contemporary
It is a
arts?
very, very good question because, as you know, in the history of museum, usually you start the collection, then you build the museum to host the collection. In that case, the museum was built, and now we are building that collection. And thanks to all the loans of French partners, but also partners from the area or from Guggenheim or for different partnerships, we have time to be very selective. So we have a very precise target, but you know, it's like a cooker. We cannot tell you, I cannot give you the recipe of the way we want to acquire things, but it's always very high level, very representative, because it's a wonderful museum, but it's not that huge. So we cannot, you know, spend the space for something that is not very in the excellency. So it takes time. It depends also what is possible to acquire on the market at the time. Sometimes, okay, you have something you cannot miss. And we just are looking for very strong, very necessary artwork for that very museum. That's why it takes time. That is also why maybe for contemporary art, for huge installation, maybe acquisition is not as necessary as for the other gallery. We have to acquire it for contemporary, but we have to think to the future and not to have, you know, huge installation. You show it once, and after it is in the storage because you want to renew what you want to show. So it takes time to make the good choice and to be pertinent all together with all the narrative, with the space, and with everything.
Thank you. I'm sure you have questions. You had questions in mind for Grazia, and you lost them. Yes, there is one here.
Actually, I was trying to make a comparison between what the Louvre is doing as a museum and the foundation. I don't know whether this is correct, that museum represents the work of old civilizations, connecting it and presenting it to the modern world. But the foundation, I find it much more presenting the work of individuals, the artwork of individuals, giving that they are not necessarily artists, but they are different people from different backgrounds. When you mention scientists, when you mention statistics or mathematicians, so I'm just wondering, what you're doing in the foundation is as if presenting the present issues in a very modern way for everyone to share it, more like it is belonging to everyone, while the museum was a bit related to a certain civilization and the work of certain people at that time. So, but we needed to find the relations as what the Louvre is doing. So I feel that somehow what you're doing is a wonderful work. I'm just commenting on both of your associations. This is my own way of looking at the great thing that you are both doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And it will be the conclusion of this first session. So thank you. We will meet again within 15 minutes. Don't miss the second session, because you will then really dive into the brands and you will see how artists become insiders at Dior and at Bernardo. So please come back.